management detailing their numbers.
Well, we said, initially we said we hope to grow faster than industry, and that's got slightly tapered from given where we are in Q1. We don't provide a more specific guidance than that.
So how much materially is the impact coming in from these two client specific, and what are the other reasons which may have led to a weaker quarter?
From a revenue perspective, like I said, those are the three ones, right? It is these two clients and some slower ramp-ups from new clients that were signed last year. There are also some one-off cost elements that happened in Q1, right? So we had visa application costs. Everybody knows that the visa costs went up, and we'll have some visa costs next quarter too. In fact, the bigger costs will come next quarter. We had a one-off medical expense that happened. We had a self-insured company, so we had a one-off medical expense in the US.
So while you're taking us through listing all those details of what really led to the weaker performance, so EBIT margins for this particular quarter has taken a dip of 140 basis points. So why don't you take us through the breakup of what comprises of this 140 basis points?
So the biggest single component is actually ESOP. So our allocation for stock options went up by roughly $1 million last quarter to this quarter, and that is about 80 basis points. And the rest is basically largely comes due to a drop in revenue and the fact that we had a couple of one-off costs, the medical cost and the visa cost. What may be less known is the fact that underlying why we had earlier said there's going to be a muted quarter is that as weak as Q4 is from a calendar perspective, Q1 is worse. So we actually dropped 1.8 million of revenue due to calendar alone, but that was anticipated. That was anticipated when we got into the year.
All right. So EBIT margins going forward, are we expecting the same kind of trajectory? What is the outlook you want to give? And especially that one time, the big hit coming in from ESOPs, how recurring is that, and is the same amount going to continue?
And we will provide a specific guidance on what the ESOP cost assumption should be for the year. But at this point of time, what we put in Q1 will be the same cost going forward.
Are you ready with that guidance?
Yeah, it will be the same cost for the rest of it.
All right. So what are the other levers, Mr. Sri Krishna, that you are going to utilize to push the margins up going forward in the present quarter and the quarters ahead?
It's primarily utilization. The single biggest lever is utilization, right? And like I said, revenue drop leads to lower utilization. We clearly have headroom to improve on the utilization. So the single biggest lever is utilization.
So 69.6%, it's in this quarter.
Correct.
And what is the headroom that you're looking at achieving in the next couple of quarters?
So we've said our goal is to be in early 70, 72, 73 range. And so that's the movement lever for us, 3 to 4%.
How much of this performance would you attribute to global factors, industry-specific factors, and how much would you attribute to Hexaware-specific performance? In your perspective, of course, analysts will do their job.
Sure. And I'm not talking about the quarter. I'll talk about the year, right? From that perspective, do you want to talk about this quarter?
This quarter, and then an outlook for the next few quarters.
I mean, this quarter, I would say, is largely Hexaware specific. In fact, it is a couple of client specific. Now, for those clients, it is to do with their global outlook. The fact that they are having challenging performances for the year is the reason why there was a reduction in budget and a reduction in spend. But, so that was this quarter. From a year perspective, I think, there was some nervousness, especially in the capital markets, especially in the financial services sector, early in the year. I would say through first quarter. But I think it's largely settled right now.
So it was, so you didn't anticipate it earlier?
Well, I don't think anybody anticipated the shifts in the stock market in the first quarter in the BFS segment. But we're not attributing our performance to that in Q1.
All right. So like there was some surprise element for you as well while guiding for the company. Now, what are you expecting for the next 2 quarters? You're saying that it's going to be better, but what are the surprise elements that would be on your watch list?
There's always, possible surprises in existing customers, but we keep a fairly close eye on those, and after accounting for some possible surprises, we still feel very good about the fact that most of our growth will come in Q2 and Q3.
Okay, in fact, now for Hexaware, it's a 7.5%